My coming out story is unique because it had one unforeseeable factor that was a big part of it, which was my stepdad's porn collection. How often do you hear that, right? Before I start, I'd like to tell anybody in the closet that I love you, and so do a lot of other people. You don't need to come out if you're not ready. Depending on which country you come from, it might not even be safe for you to come out, which is tough and it sucks, but you have to stick it through. But once you are ready and once your truth is out, you have to be okay with some people seeing you differently because some people will judge you. You have to accept that and push through that. The people that love you will stand by your side no matter what, and even if they are uncomfortable with you in the beginning, hopefully with time and love, that will pass. I'm gonna tell you my coming out story right after I say this. If you like me and my content, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. This helps me out so much, and it'll also help out so many other people that see themselves in my content. We could all be besties. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. All right, now it's story time. First of all, hi. I'm Kevin, if you don't already know me. I live in a town outside of LA. I'm also on TikTok at The Coolest Kev. That's also my Instagram handle, The Coolest Kev. I got Starbucks today. All right, so as I've already mentioned in a previous video, because I was raped by a pedophile when I was like 6 years old, I grew up really confused about my sexuality. I was always attracted to guys, yes, but for a long time, I wasn't sure if that attraction was genuine. In middle school and high school, I used to feel dirty when I thought about men because I felt like I was only attracted to them because I was exposed to men at a young age. Men that like molested me. I experimented with guys and girls in college, but I never went past fingering a girl once and blowing some dudes, and I hated every single experience. I never had sex, you know, like real sex, like vaginal or anal. Penetrative sex like this, never had. I was still a virgin. I went to college in Boston at Boston University, and that's 3,000 miles away from LA. So I went to school across the country basically. In the second semester of my junior year, I decided to study abroad in Los Angeles, which is really fucking hilarious because I basically grew up in Los Angeles, but like there was this really cool film program that I wanted to do in LA. And so I studied abroad at home. So yeah, pretty much when all my friends were studying abroad in London and New Zealand and Australia, I studied abroad in my hometown. But I had my own apartment in LA, so I would only come home to my parents' house, this house, on the weekends. I didn't need to come home, but I was fixing my relationship with them at the time, which I'll get to. Okay, so the weekend before I was supposed to move into my apartment in LA, so like a random weekend in January of 2019, my mom and I were on the couch and we were trying to watch a movie. I had this app called Plex, and on this app I usually connect to my friend's server because my friend Sandy like met some dude in New Zealand and he like gave her access to all these movies for free. So I downloaded the app Plex on my TV, and usually I would connect to that friend's server and like have access to all these movies. However, on this one particular night, my Plex account decided to not connect to Sandy's server and chose my stepdad's server instead. So when my mom and I opened up the screen and expected to see a list of family-friendly movies that a regular mom and her regular 20-year-old son could watch on a family-friendly movie night, we were surprised to see college girl porn on the television. Thumbnails and thumbnails of vaginas and breasts and blonde hair, things that I wouldn't normally be into. My first reaction was literally, "Hey mom, that's not mine." And she responded with, "I know, it's your stepdad's." And I was like, ew. Cause I was like, do you guys watch this together? Like, ew. Not shaming anything, but like, I was like, what the fuck? So then it got awkward and she literally got up and left to the gym. And at that moment, my stepdad, who was in the other room the entire time, came out and went up to me and said,
"Hey, so I heard you saw my porn and I want you to know that you could watch it whenever you want. I know guys like you at your age want to fuck a lot of girls, so it's all yours."
And I literally was like, thanks. I didn't know what else to say because at the time my stepdad didn't know that I was gay or like had any issues with molesters, pedophiles growing up. And so I just tried to act cool. I was like, yeah, man, like, yes, girls. So then I followed my mom to the gym and I found her on the treadmill and I pulled up next to her on the treadmill and I turned it on and I put it on level 3 and I like was walking like this and I was like, "Hey mom, like I'm kind of uncomfortable because dad just like came up to me and said that like I would benefit from the porn, and like I'm still sexually confused because I'm not sure if I like guys or girls, because she knew what happened to me as a child. And then we just continued the conversation on the treadmill. So my mom's Catholic and she was pretty homophobic, but she understood my situation and she wanted like what was best for me, which I really appreciated. So we talked and we talked and we talked, and my mom was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of uncomfortable with that, like I don't want you to be gay, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, but like I kind of like guys, I'm not really sure, like would you hate me if I was with guys? And she was like, I don't know, blah blah blah. And so we ended up taking the conversation all the way to the car because we couldn't finish it on the treadmill. And when we were in the car, it pretty much ended with her saying,
okay, Kevin, I want you to be straight, but I'd rather have you be gay than confused. So go sleep with a girl and then go sleep with a guy and then come back and let me know what you think.
And I was like, bet. Like literally that was how it ended. She was also binge watching the show Sex Education at the time, and I think she was inspired by the mom of that show because she's like this like sex positive therapist that always figured out everyone's sex problems. She also told me to watch the show while experimenting, and so I did, of course. It's a great show. Check it out. Okay, so overall, my mom was open to me experimenting again, but I think she meant to experiment over the period of like a couple years. I don't think she expected me to come home a week later and tell her that I liked getting fucked in the ass by men, but I'll get to that in a bit. I moved into my LA apartment that week, and like on Tuesday or something, I was watching the show because my mom told me to, and it was like 12 o'clock in the morning and this guy messaged me on Grindr. I couldn't really see his face up close on the one photo that he had on his profile, but he seemed cute, so I responded. This was like the real text convo that was exchanged that night. Obviously, I wasn't really paying attention because I was watching the show and I couldn't really see his face, so I was kind of just like, oh, what's up? He seemed cool over text, but it was like 12:53 in the morning, and I also knew nothing about bottoming at the time, like zero. I was literally a virgin, so I didn't really think much of it. Like I thought we were just gonna chat. He ended up sending me more photos of his face and his body, and let me tell you, he was fucking sexy. Like he is the hottest person I've ever met in my life. Why am I using past tense when he's the person that I'm seeing today, 3 years later? Surprise, this is Ben. Anyway, so when he sent me those photos, they weren't nudes, by the way, they were just like regular photos of his face and his body. When he sent me those photos, I was like, you know what? I know nothing about bottoming and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm just gonna go see him because he's fucking cute. I was scared of him being ugly in motion or like being secretly a serial killer or both. And so I asked him to FaceTime before I headed over. And when I saw his face on the screen, like moving his head, and heard his voice, I think I got pregnant. Like, I think I got pregnant just from like hearing his voice. And like, you know, I'm a male, so I can't get pregnant, but like I got pregnant before meeting him. I mean, okay, you know how obsessed I am with him today. So like imagine how I felt the first time I spoke with him over the phone. Okay. I need to stop because Ben isn't the point of the story. Like this is a mom coming out story time, not a Ben story time. Like the Ben story has to come in a different video because there's a lot to unpack there. I'll talk about it in a different video, but like basically I saw him, I fell in love. I immediately knew that I was gay. We couldn't have sex that first time because I didn't know shit about bottoming, so it failed, but I caught feelings for him. But he was in a relationship with somebody else, but it was open, but he liked me. But then I learned how to have sex, but then they broke up, but we never got together, but we became friends. Yeah, it's a whole mess. Different video, different time. So back to the point of this video, coming out. Okay, so basically all the confusion that I had about being gay, poof, disappeared on this one night, right? He just like made me realize that like me being gay had nothing to do with like me getting molested, because when I met him, like the feeling that I had was so real. It still is so real today. If you guys knew who this guy was, like he's just too special. Like I have to protect his identity. Anyway, so then that weekend I came home to my mom and I like found her in the bathroom and I cornered her and I was like, hey mom, I met someone this past week. I figured it out. No worries. I am gay. That was like my opening line, and like looking back, I probably should not have approached her that way a week after she just told me to experiment. But basically she started crying in front of me and I was like, holy fuck, like I fucked up. Like I'm horrible, like I should have like waited a bit or like said things differently instead of just saying like, by the way, like I'm gay now. So then I went to my room to cry. This room, actually. My door was open. My stepdad saw me crying, so he came in and he was like, why are you crying? Like, what's wrong? And I was crying and I was like, oh my God, like, I just told mom that I'm gay. By the way, I'm gay, because he didn't know yet. So like that was me coming out to him, I guess, like me crying, and I was like, I just like told her I was. And then he immediately just went,
oh my gosh, like that's so normal, like biology says it's normal. I like read this book and animals are gay, like it's so normal, like you're so normal, don't worry about it.
And I was like, thanks. Like, so we talked for a bit and my mom was still in the bathroom crying, and my stepdad was just like, you know what, just give her some more time. She's traditional, so she's like a little bit, you know, close-minded with that, but like she'll come around, I promise. And I was like, thank you so much, like that's so nice. And we weren't that close at the time. We're still not super close today, but like it was so nice of him to like come in my room and tell me that kind of stuff, you know? And then he was like,
yeah, dude, it's so normal. Sometimes when I watch porn, the girl has a dick, but like I still keep watching it, like it's fine.
And then he showed me the profile of who he was talking about, and I was like, great, thanks. So then he left, and then my mom like finished crying, and she like came in my room and she sat down on the bed, this bed right here, and she was a little bit sad and quiet, but she wasn't crying anymore. And I was like, hey mom, like I know you're upset, but like I can't control who I like. I'm still the same person that you knew a week ago, but I just met someone and he's just so hot, like. And, you know, I just kind of kept rambling on and on about how, like, you know, it's fine. Like, I'm not an evil person. Like, I'm not, like, gonna be dirty. I'm not gonna, like, be contagious or whatever. And she took a while to respond, which was valid. But when she did respond, she was like, you know what? Like, I'm unhappy with this right now, and I'm uncomfortable, and I'm still homophobic. I'm against it. I wish things were different, but I love you, and I want you to be happy. So I'll try to educate myself and try to be more accepting of it in the future. And I just, like, started crying because that meant the whole world to me, to know that she was willing to try. It took years for her to be comfortable with it, and I'm not even saying that she's like fully comfortable with it today, but she's cool with it, you know? And she like urged me to give her updates on my love life and my sex life so she would like just be used to it. She felt like the more updates that she got, the more comfortable she would be over the whole situation. It's so funny actually, because I feel like she would have been more accepting of it if I had a boyfriend that was exclusive to me. But because my first love was Ben, and he was in an open relationship with somebody else, it definitely was a little bit hard for her to like accept it because of that. And like coincidentally, 2019 was like the year that I was having sex for the first time with him. And so then like I had so many new updates to give her. Like there was one time that I got chlamydia, but it wasn't even from Ben. It was some guy that I saw like during a break or before Ben or something. I didn't even sleep with him. I got it in my throat. And I told her about having chlamydia on a random hike in Hawaii on a family vacation with people around. But anyway, I'm almost glad that she didn't like get super comfortable super quick, because I feel like it shows how much she's willing to try. Just the fact that she was open to having conversations with me about it. Conversations that included religion, health, love, sex, dating. And I feel like that's more important than just like always agreeing with someone. Like just the fact that like you're open to the conversation and you're open to have a discussion about it without like intense judgment, and you're open to like learning about somebody else. I feel like that's almost more interesting and shows more of like how much someone loves you if you guys are different, but like you guys choose to understand each other. I love my mom. I absolutely respect and love her and adore her, and I just like love her so much. We're best friends today. It's been like 3 years since Ben and I met, so like she's had to hear about all these updates about Ben, even though she knew that he was in a relationship with somebody else in the beginning, even though she knows that we were never exclusive. She's still open to talking to me about him. And you know what? They even met. Like they literally met once, my parents and Ben, which is like funny because like I couldn't really introduce him as a boyfriend or a regular friend. I literally introduced him as a friend with benefits, and they were cool about it. Like my dad and Ben talked about crypto. My mom and him were cordial, and she asks about him sometimes, and it's just like super nice. She also knows about my videos, and so like yeah. Coming out to my other family members, I only really came out to my grandparents. My grandma was cool about it for sure. My grandpa was like, oh, that's not normal, don't be like that. But I didn't really care like what he had to say, because he was like fine with it anyway. He just like wanted to make a comment, and then he died because of COVID like earlier this year. Rest in peace. As for my other family members, my real dad's dead. I haven't seen my aunts and uncles and cousins in a while because they're all in Indonesia. A lot of my family members follow my Instagram, and I talk about being gay and getting fucked in the ass online. So if they didn't know it back then, they probably know it now if they follow me. And I'm sure like the word has spread because I made a bit of a following online from being gay and from getting fucked in the ass and talking about it. And yeah, I guess that's how I came out to my other family members. As for my friends, I mean, they've always known that I was like kind of confused growing up, and they've known about like my crushes on guys in high school, especially my first love, you know, with Ben, and my first time and stuff, because they get updates in real time, and they've always been cool with it. Like my friends, I have the best friends in the world. They love me and I love them very, very much. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, so that's my coming out story, and I'm probably gonna have another video on tips for coming out since people ask me that all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here and sticking around with me and supporting me. If you haven't already done so, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me, and I'm trying to grow on my YouTube, so please subscribe and like this video. It'll help me out so much, and it'll help other people find my videos, and a lot of people see themselves in these videos, so please do so. We can all be best friends. If you want to follow me on my socials, it's just the coolest Kev on Instagram and on TikTok. Please let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you're still in the closet, just know that I love you, and so do a lot of other people. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.